Welcome to Mainland Television Regional News. I'm Graham O'Brien, and some of the stories coming up in today's bulletin: Patriots take a stand, close encounters of a vehicular kind, World COP Day on November 19th, Health Minister in for a flying visit. White Ribbon Day kicked off Tuesday morning with a good crowd turnout on what was a beautiful morning for the terrible topic of violence against women and children. However, it's the one that New Zealand has shocking statistics for, and the men that are making their voices heard the loudest are the bravest and strongest amongst us. They're known as a Patriot Motorcycle Club, whose members are serving or ex-servicemen from our armed forces who have taken the White Ribbon Pledge, never to commit, condone or remain silent about men's violence against women in all its forms. I went along and spoke with White Ribbon rider Eru Whare and the event organiser Felicity Hurst of Tirito. Yeah, we're outside Zumos and there's lots of bikes here and there's lots going on. We just got Eru here to tell us what are they doing down here and what's going on.
Yeah, hi everyone. We're here, part of the White Ribbon campaign. I'm known as the White Ribbon Rider, Men Against Domestic Violence Against Women and Children. We're here on a week-long campaign throughout the South Island, and we'll be visiting a number of destinations to highlight this awareness throughout New Zealand. At the same time, there'll be a North Island ride happening, so this is a national campaign that's happening starting this week, and this is the first of our event today.
Oh, that's fantastic, and it's great to see, the guys on the bikes and the big black jackets and stuff. Bit of a contrast to what we usually understand of people campaigning against domestic violence.
Exactly. I mean, with the riders here, we've got a different make of guys, from labour men, from businessmen, to pastors of churches and that. So we've got a good mix of men who actually feel that this campaign is very important to them in one way, shape or form. So I guess it's just probably one of those things out of our daily lives that we're taking time out to actually express to the rest of New Zealand. It's a campaign that we self-fund, so it's something that's not cheap. We take time off work to be here. So it's very important and dear to our heart, and this is one of the reasons why I come down myself. So, and this is the fourth year running down in the South Island. I'm one of two of the originals that are still left. But hey, it's something that I look forward to doing every year as long as this ride down here keeps going.
I also think it's important to acknowledge people get really confused. Why is today about violence from men towards women? This actually started in 1989 in Canada. Some females were studying a male-dominated field, which was engineering at the time. One of their fellow students took exception to that and thought they didn't want women entering what was previously a male domain. So he actually massacred 14 of those female students. Some of the surviving students got together and formed what we call White Ribbon Day. So in 2004 it became recognised by the United Nations as the International Day to prevent violence against women. And many years later, this is what we've got. We've got the White Ribbon Day riders, we've got everyone mixing and mingling and really celebrating how far we've come.
Fantastic. And I mean, if anyone's going to stop domestic violence, it's men that have to man up to it.
Exactly. I mean, we're here to stand up as men and face that battle as men together. And it's important that we have our women beside us to walk hand in hand and to show that we are serious and important about this.
Excellent. Thanks very much for all your efforts, Edu, and it's great to see you here.
Hey, mate. Thank you for the opportunity of being here too.
Roadworks on State Highway 6 above Appleby on Tuesday morning could have caused many motorists to have a close encounter with queued up traffic. One of our staff members came across the queue rather abruptly after coming round a corner while travelling towards Nelson and had to brake hard to avoid a collision with stopped vehicles. She then had to wait nervously for vehicles following to do the same. There had been no signage on the roadside warning of blind queues on approach, and after the queue moved off, she noticed some work signs not far before the actual work being carried out. The works were contracted out by Downer, however it was Opus who fielded the irate driver's many complaints about the lack of signage and close encounters by other vehicle drivers. Opus were not happy by the lack of safety and signage and had contacted staff at Downer to put more signage out on the road. At the time of going to air, there had been no reported vehicle collisions, possibly due more to good luck and driver diligence than to good road management. New Zealand rates of hospitalisation due to chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, otherwise known as COPD, are the second highest in the OECD countries, with it being the fourth leading cause of death in this country, behind heart disease, cancer and stroke. Executive Director of Asthma New Zealand, Linda Thompson, said this week that the leading cause of COPD is smoking. This disease mortality is almost 3 times higher for Māori aged 45 years and over than for non-Māori. Those employed in dusty work environments such as mechanics, builders and bakers could also have an increased risk of developing COPD. Prolonged exposure to harmful substances at work, for example coal dust and welding fumes, is also a contributing factor for COPD. New research has also highlighted the likelihood of asthmatic children developing COPD in later life, even without ever having smoked. A new Australian study has found that children with severe asthma are at an increased risk of developing COPD, which is concerning for New Zealand as we have the second highest rate of asthma in the world, with up to 1 in 5 children affected by this chronic disease. The warning from Asthma New Zealand for Kiwis to be more aware, quit smoking, and if suffering from symptoms to be tested. All comes as part of an awareness campaign for World COPD Day on November 19th. It's not often we see a health minister grace our region, but our current Minister of Health, Honourable Dr. Jonathan Coleman, will be in Nelson on Thursday for a fleeting visit as part of a 20 DHB tour to engage with doctors, nurses and management while visiting the hospital. A fur seal has been spotted relaxing by the Motueka Recreation Centre. The young male New Zealand fur seal was healthy and just relaxing in the area, according to Doc. Over the last couple of weeks, Doc has received a number of calls about the fur seal and is monitoring its presence. The fur seal has been assessed by veterinarian Mana Stratton, who has confirmed that the seal is in a satisfactory condition and behaving like a normal, healthy seal. Mana said that it is a young male and most likely the mothers have weaned the pups, as around September they need to build up their body condition before giving birth again in late November through to mid-January. The seal's presence is a good sign that the population in Tasman area is at last making a comeback. Motueka Service Manager Mark Townsend says, however, that it is very important that people are respectful of all wildlife at all times, and this includes the fur seal. He said that drivers should be careful driving down roads where seals are known to be nearby. When out walking, do not approach a seal, only take photos from a distance. A frightened seal will bite in defence as it tries to escape. Using a lead when walking dogs in an area is advisable, as a closely approaching dog is still harmful to wildlife. The public are asked to contact Doc if they have any concerns about the seal. Nelson Community has pulled together to bring a rare artwork home with the help of Nelson City Council's early contribution of $5,000. This donation helped kick off what has become a successful community-wide fundraising campaign to secure a rare Rita Angus painting with strong Nelson connections, which will fittingly now call our region home. Over the subsequent 10 weeks of fundraising, the Mayor said she has watched with admiration and pleasure the very clear support for this appeal across our region as a whole, both from individuals and from corporate entities. Excitingly tracking the way the fundraising barometer has gone up each week, closer and closer to the target of $245,000. Council does not normally provide additional funding for acquisitions, but on this occasion the value of the painting to the Suter collection and the rare opportunity to the Suter had already identified within its collections policy, agreed back in 2007, that a work by Rita Angus was their top priority for acquisition, preferably one that would reflect her strong and creative connection to Nelson. However, major works of Rita Angus are rarely available for purchase, and until now, a 7-year search by the Suter had been unsuccessful. The Apple Pickers is a painting that represents our region's rich history and is an inspirational artwork, Mayor Rees said, particularly for the people of Nelson. It is the rarest of treasures and one worth waiting for. To mark the countdown to the third largest sporting event in the world coming to New Zealand, the ICC Cricket World Cup trophy is currently on tour and it's on its way to Nelson. The trophy will be on display at Nelson College for a few hours from early in the morning, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Thursday, November the 20th as a part of a 22-stop roadshow which began in Auckland on November the 6th. It will be accompanied by a range of interactive cricket school challenges, giving New Zealand a taste of the action to come. The tournament's opening match between New Zealand and Sri Lanka will be held at the recently redeveloped Hagley Oval in Christchurch on the 14th of February 2015, kicking off 49 matches over 44 days across 14 venues in New Zealand and Australia. Nelson is one of the 14 host cities for the ICC Cricket World Cup 2015. Further information about the Trophy Tour, tournament and tickets can be found at cricketworldcup.com. After the break, we'll bring you the latest weather update and some events and happenings coming up from around the region.